know good and well my mama was not supposed to be walking up to the polls with a kid who couldn't vote. But she was so about that life. And everybody at the polls knew her. She took my look behind, grabbed me by the hand, and said, come on in here, you going to vote. Don't talk, but I want you to see and know what it is. I want you to watch mama, check for my name. This is Alabama. We didn't have nothing digital. Wasn't nothing fancy ever. It was you were writing your name or scratching your name off or bubbling something and coloring in something. You stand here and don't say nothing. Parenting Up, Caregiving Adventures with Comedian Jay Smiles is the intense journey of unexpectedly being fully responsible for my mama. For over a decade, I've been chipping away at the unknown, advocating for her, and pushing Alzheimer's awareness on anyone and anything with a heartbeat. Spoiler alert, I started comedy because this shit is so heavy, so be ready for the jokes. Caregiver newbies, OGs, and village members just willing to prop up a caregiver, you are in the right place.
Hi, this is Zetty. I hope you enjoy my daughter's podcast. Is that okay?
Today's supporter shout out, Tori Lux. Quote, so real. Mom drives from the passenger side now. Dementia sucks. Thank you for sharing. Emoji heart. End quote. We appreciate it, Tori Lux. And for the rest of you, you too can have your supporter shout out. Leave your comment on Apple Podcast, Instagram, or YouTube. And leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Please. It really helps us grow and secure sponsorship. Thank you. Today's episode, Ballots and Beliefs, Zetty's passion for voting. There are so many stories I tell about Zetty. 99.9% of them are post-Alzheimer's, dementia, the brain shunt, when her memory started to fail, when her gait started to be crappy, when she fell, when she had urine running down her leg and didn't know. And at this time I said, let me say something about this chick, this glorious, fantastic, boss, old, badass woman that's my mama before this stupid disease. There's so much life and vitality that I know is still in there. But listen, let me tell y'all something about this lady. Her friends from back in the day called her TY. Her first name is Thelma, middle name Yvette. And man, a thing that my mama cared about, I don't know that she cared about anything more than voting. That's what I'm trying to say. And when I know she cares more about me, but I'm a person. I said, I don't know a thing, right? Not a car, not a vacation, not a job, not a concert, not money, voting. And growing up, I was like, why this election? Why this candidate? And the look on her face, you would think I told her that she was a horrible mom and I was about to run away. Don't ever come for me. Don't try to find me. I hate you. She was so dedicated to the pursuit of equity through our civil liberty of voting. And so I got to share with you all a little bit about how that impacted me and how it seemed to come to play for her. My parents actually met at a political event in Alabama trying to determine if Alabama Democrats needed to break off and start a whole new Democratic thing. It's kind of like in national politics or global politics, you always hear, do we need a new party? Democrats, Republicans, they're not doing right by anybody. So we want the Green Party, we want the Independents, we want the Tea Party, whatever. Well, that's where my parents met. Talking trash at a political event, talking about voting. My mom always told me, no voting is insignificant. If it was insignificant and it didn't matter, they would have given us the right to vote from the beginning. And so even if you don't understand, Jay, why you should vote, understand that the people in the power don't want you to. That's why you should do it. So think about like when you're a kid and you're growing up and your parents say, don't date that guy, don't date that girl, come home by midnight. What's the first thing you do? You're like, forget that. If you say come home by midnight, I'm trying to figure out immediately how at least to stay out to 1 a.m. It's the same psychology, for my mom at least. If they don't want us to vote, then damn it, I'm fucking voting every time. Local, state, federal, she was in it. Now, of course, it does not hurt that she was born and raised in Montgomery, Alabama, and Martin Luther King Jr. was a personal mentor of hers. But I will tell you this, all of her contemporaries, all of her cousins, everybody she grew up with, didn't keep that same fire in their belly. And I mean, technically speaking, Dr. King was there with them too. Like I wasn't there, so I ain't trying to start nothing. And I ain't trying to say who did this, who robbed Peter to pay Paul. But I grew up with him. And I know some people didn't quite make it. Y'all, Zetty gave her employees the day off to go vote. She's a private employer, a consultant. And let me tell you why that's a big deal. They had to negotiate their ass off to get regular vacation. Because my mama believed in you should work. You got sick days and then you should come to work. Because if you ain't sick, you should be at work. Vacation from what? What you vacationing from? You should be happy to have a job, and if you ain't sick, you should come to work. But for voting, she gave him the day off. Paid. And all she was waiting for them to do was to come back into work with the little sticker on that said, I voted. That's how serious my mama was from day one about voting. Funny story about voting with my mom. Okay, so back in the day, especially Montgomery, Alabama, you got to realize when I was growing up, we were still under all kind of federal jurisdiction because of the crap that happened back in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. You know what? For the crap that happened from Jesus and Moses up till about 1997, we were still under federal rule. So how we voted and when we voted and gerrymandering and red districting, all of that, we had a lot of federal oversight. So y'all know good and well my mama was not supposed to be walking up to the polls with a kid who couldn't vote. But she was so about that life. And everybody at the polls knew her. She took my look behind, grabbed me by the hand, and said, come on in here, you going to vote. Don't talk, but I want you to see and know what it is. I want you to watch mama, check for my name. This is Alabama. We didn't have nothing digital. Wasn't nothing fancy ever. It was you were writing your name or scratching your name off or bubbling something and coloring in something. You stand here and don't say nothing. And she walked in, and hilarious was to watch Zetty go from badass, I will negotiate with a drug kingpin and the devil, to sweet and demure, like she about to hand somebody a piece of cake. So she's talking all this trash with me in the car. Now, you're not supposed to be in here, but don't say nothing. If you just don't talk and don't do nothing, don't touch nothing, you can't bring no toy in here, and don't look at nobody. You just hold my hand. She gets in. Hi, how are you? Ooh, how's your mama? Yeah. Oh my God. It is hot outside, isn't it? Oh, I barely made it here. Yep. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, should I get in this line over here? Oh, well, thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I had to go pick my child up. I didn't have anybody else to go and get her. So is it okay if she's just gonna be just right over? She's not gonna make a, oh, is that okay? Oh, thank you so much. Cause I understand. Y'all, okay? By the time she has cotton air talked these people into talking about the weather and their kids and a piece of cake, I'm at 9, 11, 12, 13, all standing with her, watching the whole process. That's my mama. And then she walks back out and she said, did you see what I just did? You don't take no for an answer. If you're not trying to shoot nobody or kill nobody or steal nothing, you better not stand down. And then I was thinking to myself, I don't even know, but I wasn't supposed to be but I wasn't supposed to be here, like stand. But what I didn't do was talk back to her, because there were 2 times during the year that my mama got riled up and got like big, like a grizzly bear. Tax time and voting. And you let her be right. It didn't matter what she said. If she told me that I was not her daughter and that I was a tree, the answer's like, right, yes. And I couldn't say yes, ma'am. Because if you say yes, ma'am, to Zetty, you are in immediate trouble. That is like a suspension from the family. I could say, okay, mama, I heard you. Okay, Zetty, I got you. I understand. She said, yes, ma'am, don't you listen. That's what white people made us say to them after they had either whipped us or beat us or treated us poorly, even after slavery was over. Don't you tell me yes, ma'am. We weren't even supposed to be voting. But okay, I wasn't supposed to. Okay, all right. Whatever, mama. The reason I can approach strangers to this very day, I owe a lot of credit to my mom making me go canvassing. I ain't have a choice. I actually had to go door to door, knocking, passing out leaflets and stuff for candidates. Now, these are candidates clearly I don't know nothing about. I can't vote. But she would give me the pamphlets and the papers, and I either had to go put it in their mailbox, knock on the door, like if we were at a football game, a basketball game. Sometimes we were doing it at the mall, and we just handed it to people. I'm just supposed to smile. Hi, how you doing? Have a good day. How many of you had to go ring a doorbell, wait for people to come outside? Like my Zetty didn't allow me to just leave the pamphlet or the little piece of paper under the doormat. I had to ring the doorbell first and try to say, please vote for so-and-so for the Board of Education. Please vote for so-and-so for county commissioner. You know what? To this day, most Americans, most of my friends who call themselves engaged and informed, they don't have no damn idea who their county commissioner is. Before I could drive a car, I'm canvassing. Because Daddy said I had to. And she's sitting in the car watching me do it. Why aren't you canvassing my wife? Why do I have to go do it? I want to go play. I want to go outside and play because if these people ask me a question about the candidate, I don't even have anything to say. She said, don't you worry about that. You read these top 3 bullets on the back of this little card, hand it to whoever answers the door, and come back to the car. And then she would blow and wave at them. And they say, all right, how you doing? What? You talk about not having a choice? Yeah. Zetty's reputation was so solid and so pure that many candidates came to her and went looking for an endorsement. She didn't care where they stood in the polls, if they were an incumbent, black, white, conservative, liberal, moderate. What are your issues? What's your voting record? Zetty actually went and found people's voting records. I don't even know how you did it. How did she do that shit? This was before the internet. I literally don't know. But I don't know. Did you go to the library, Mama? Like, did you go to the library? Did you go down to the state capitol and ask somebody to like print it off? I don't even know what you do. And then she would ask them, well, you told us last election you were going to vote for extra, garbage and recycling. And you didn't. So why would I trust you now? That's how she would come at people when they asked for her endorsement. Sweetly. Now, my dad, on the other hand, is cussing and dropping F-bombs because he's from New York. But they could win him over with a martini or, hey, man, I got caught out there. I was caught between a rock and a hard place. I had to negotiate. He's a lawyer. My mama said, you don't ever negotiate with your word for your constituents. Period. So she wouldn't rock with him no more. When they did decide to back a candidate, my parents would host political fundraisers at the house. Depending on my age, I could end up being the babysitter. My parents didn't hire no babysitter to be taking care of these folks' kids. That was me. Or the valet. Yes, here I am this is about the deep south. Here I am with no license, getting people's keys and parking the cars all over the neighborhood. And then like putting some kind of little tape or garbage bag, twisty tie, and putting their name on it. Zetty knew election day like her birthday. If it moved up, if it was a special election, she knew it. And she refused to go on vacation or have any kind of civil litigation, because there was an expert witness, happening on election day. Do y'all hear me? I mean, she was going to the poll, walking in that brick and mortar building with her pencil or pen or punching whatever thing in the box. She had no love for absentee ballots. I'm pausing right now to say this is not the parenting up community opinion about absentee ballots. If you need an absentee ballot, please use one. All of my brothers and sisters in the military, most of you have to do it. Often you don't have a choice. I'm just letting y'all know about your girl. She said, So you telling me the same people that chased me with dogs and put a fire hose on me with enough water pressure to rip my skin off my knees, they gonna open some mail I send and count it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I tell you what. You wait on that. My daddy would be mad as hell at first when she would reshift all the damn holiday plans or vacation plans, or it didn't matter what I had going on at school. It was, oh my, it's my play. It's my team. We made it to the playoffs. Baby, I can't make it. Y'all traveling to Florida? Good. Mama's gonna give you some extra spending money and you do the best you can. But y'all going on voting day. I got to walk in the building and punch my ticket. And watch them punch it. And watch the thing fall down into whatever or go into the lockbox has somebody standing there with a gun. That's the mentality that Zetty carried around voting. And when I tell you she gave it to me, I can't lie and say I have been as judicious as she is, but there have been times when I lived in Europe or I lived in other states and I said, I got to get my ass back to where I live to go vote. There are times where I have driven 8 hours one way to turn around and go back because I needed to vote the way my mama said vote. Now, I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm just sharing with y'all what I did because she made me scared. I was like, well, I can't come. This was before she had Alzheimer's. Now I can vote absentee and I don't feel bad about it. Now, is that trippy, y'all? That's trippy, huh? Right now, I feel like I can vote absentee because if she's not gonna ask me. But before, if she said, well, Jay, did you go vote? Well, where did you vote? I couldn't tell her I sent in no damn absentee ballot. You know what I mean? Now she gonna make it sound like I put us all back in slavery. Can't nobody take that from her. Can't nobody take that from her. My mama hazed me and didn't believe in child work labor laws. Countless times, we would get to the polls, the line was long, it's raining, off and on. She sent me to stand in her place, umbrella or not, while she was in the car finishing her work, whatever. Zed was always working. If she was awake, she was working. So if she was reading on something or taking notes to prepare herself for the case, or because after she voted, she was going back to her office. And if she thought the line was longer than about 10 to 15 minutes, JG, go stand in line for mama and hold my place. Ma'am, there's a newspaper. Put the newspaper over your head and go stand in line. Just tell the person in front of you or behind you, your mama's in the car. I'm finishing my work. I'm two. I might not have been two, but I'm a kid. What about food or getting the flu? My granddad would say the pneumonia, catch a cold. Shit. That ain't kidding about that. And there I mentioned it. Now, at the end, I would say this. She would be very excited about the fact that we voted. And we got to go get some ice cream or a hamburger or something. Now, clearly, I didn't vote, but she created such a celebration around the process that I don't know how to not vote to this day. Like, if I go to a fast food restaurant and they're like, hey, punch on our app if you want us to keep the strawberry lemonade or replace it with the raspberry lemonade, I'm like, shit, I gotta vote on one of these because you letting me. That's how deep it is. If I go to an NBA game and they're like, raise your hand if if you went to East Coast or West Coast, or do you want a hot dog or you want a pretzel? And people on their phones not paying attention. I'm just jumping up. I'm like, a pretzel! I don't know if I'm gonna get a damn pretzel. But what you gonna do is hear my opinion. Because at the end of the day, All I am is Zetty Jr., and I'm fucking voting.
The snuggle up. Number 1, voting is a verb. That's what Zetty taught me. It's an action. It's an execution. It is telling the whole world, I am here. This is what matters. This is what I stand for. What I think, what I value, my community is this. And when you don't vote, you are laying down and you're letting other people decide your life for you. It's almost like deciding never to eat, and whatever somebody else choose is what your stomach is going to digest. And then you're looking around and wondering, why am I sick? Why do I have acne? Why did I gain 100 pounds? Or why am I losing weight? I wonder why. I wonder why. Number 2, what passion of your LO can you continue to live out, to further, to contribute to society with? For me, actually voting and being engaged politically is likely the best thing I can do to honor Zetty. Think about it. For your LO, whether he or she is physically here or not, what is something that you can stand behind and actually with joy and pride honor your LO and not really lose yourself? Put some thought into it. Put that in a review and let me know. Maybe DM me. Can't wait to hear. Number 3, parenting up family, lean into optimism. Pound for pound, we're living in the best time since recorded history. Electricity, indoor plumbing, the internet, the whole digital world, products, cars, airplanes, vaccinations, longevity of life, medicine. World wars no longer pop off every 10 years. Whether at the dinner table, at work, in the neighborhood, in class, research laboratories, in government. Voicing your opinions, healthy sparring debate. It's really just verbal voting. It happens everywhere. Long live progress. What's up, y'all? I'm over here just mixing and scratching up stuff. And reminding y'all, Patreon is open. It is open and ready for you, and your mama too. We are loading up things, all things Zetty, all things caregiving, behind the scenes, extra stuff. J Smiles Comedy is dropping with her own little collection within the J Smiles Studio Patreon very, very soon. It'll be less than a month. But you want to go on and get in there because there's exclusives that's kind of time sensitive to whoever is in there first. We've already had live broadcasts for people who are already in. And I'm going to be honest, because of, branding matters. So there's some stuff that I just can't say and do on the World Wide Web that I can do in the Patreon pantry. So if you want to see and know and hear and experience more of what's happening between my ears, come to the J Smile Studio, my Patreon pantry.